In this video, I put together 8 perfect alternatives to some of the most iconic watches ever made. All of these selected watches are much more affordable compared to the icons. So let's jump right to it and explore the selection. I will start with not only one of the most iconic watches in the list, but also one of the most expensive, especially on the secondary market. This is the watch that is almost impossible to buy from an AD for any regular folks, and on the secondary market the price is even crazier. I am talking about Patek Philippe Nautilus. I personally never was a huge fan of Nautilus and prefer Aquanaut, not that I can buy any of them. But if you like the Patek Philippe Nautilus design, here is the great alternative for you. An alternative with the French flair. I am talking about the new Yema Wristmaster Slim, which looks to me like a really great alternative. Now the watch is not cheap, but it has a lot of cool things going on. This is an octagonal shaped integrated bracelet watch with a 39mm case size. The watch design, while having some similarities with Nautilus, is not a copy of the iconic watch. That's exactly what you want from the alternative. To have some unique design elements that set the watch apart. The watch has a gradient stripes dial with textured sand-blasted finish and applied markers and Yema logo. The markers and hands are coated with Super Luminova Lume. The model has a complex well-engineered case and bezel, and it's only 9mm thin. The measurements do not include the crystal. Another cool thing about Wristmaster is that it mastered the integrated bracelet. Integrated bracelet watches are known for bracelet fit problems as they usually do not have any quick extension. Well, Yema here have you covered. The tapered bracelet features a butterfly clasp with micro adjustment mechanism allowing 1.5 to 3mm length adjustment. My favorite part aside from the designs is the movement. The Wristmaster is powered by a well-decorated Yema in-house CMM.2 micro rotor caliber. You can enjoy the beauty of the movement via the transparent sapphire back case. The movement has a very impressive 70 hours of power reserve and -3 + 7 seconds per day of the stated accuracy. Additionally to all that goodness, the watch offers 100 meters of water resistance and a screw-down crown, which should be enough to have you covered for any regular water activities. I think that Yema with its Wristmaster Slim could be a really cool alternative to Nautilus or any other integrated bracelet luxury watches really. The watch is a true value proposition that combines great design and dimensions, integrated bracelet with quick extension, and a great looking in-house movement with micro rotor. Next up is Vacheron Constantin Overseas. Overseas is probably one of the most popular watches from the Holy Trinity brand. The model is well known, iconic, expensive, and very desirable. My favorite Overseas model is the Everest Dual Time model, which is a limited edition titanium collection and absolutely gorgeous. But here's the alternative that I absolutely love. Here comes Arken Alterum. Alterum is a titanium travel watch from the British micro brand Arken. The brand is founded by Kenneth Lam. I met Kenneth this year at the Toronto Timepiece show. We had a nice chat and I had a chance to see the Alterum and I liked the watch a lot. Again, it's not the Overseas copy, and the design elements are very different, but I see the Arken as cool, inspired by the Overseas watch, especially the anthracite grey Alterum variant with its orange GMT, well, kinda GMT hand. With the watch you can track 2 zones with 2 AM/PM apertures help. Local time on the left and home time on the right. But the setup is more complex than regular GMT Flyer or Collar GMTs. The date subdial is positioned at 6 o'clock similarly to the Overseas. The watch is 40mm in diameter and clearly had the distinctive integrated bracelet design, although the watch comes on the strap only. It's 13mm thick and has 46mm lug to lug. The crystal is sapphire and the lume used is Super Luminova. The watch features 200 meters of water resistance and a screw lock crown. Well, 2 screw lock crowns. It's also worth mentioning that titanium is used with anti-scratch treatment. The watch is powered by modified Miyota movement and the price is about $750, which is pretty good for such a good looking and unique watch. Next on the list is another super popular and super expensive integrated bracelet watch. Yes, you guessed it right. It's Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Royal Oak has become a well-known phenomena and a dangerous companion on the wrist, but I have for you today another well-known phenomena. Another popular watch that would not cost you arm and leg, in some countries literally. Yes, you probably guessed that one too. I am talking about Tissot PRX. Tissot won a lottery ticket with PRX and the line evolved very quickly. Today Tissot offers a variety of models to choose from. 40 and 35mm options, bunch of dial color variations, metal variations. It's a very solid and attainable watch from a well-known brand. If you are looking for that Royal Oak vibe, it doesn't get better than PRX for the price. The PRX prices start at $725 for automatic watch and $395 for the quartz. The 40mm version has a very thin profile with 11mm thickness. It's an elegant sports watch with an integrated bracelet. Beautiful textured dial with applied markers and lume on markers and hands. The lume is not great, but still nice to have. The finishing of the case and bracelet is great. The movement is very reliable and with a strong power reserve for up to 80 hours. The patented Vacheron balance spring will protect your watch from magnetic fields. With the transparent back case, you can see the movement work. Well, there is not much else to say about PRX. Go out and try it on your wrist if you haven't checked it out yet. You also can opt for any of the quartz PRX models to save some cash. Alright, let's take a break from integrated bracelet watches and choose something completely different but also super cool. Cartier Tank Must Large is an absolute icon and a very popular watch from Cartier. Popular because of the design and also it's an entry-level watch from Cartier. It's not an expensive model for a luxury brand, but it's an expensive watch for what it is. It's a relatively simple, very good looking quartz rectangular watch. In any case, here is a great alternative to the Cartier Tank Must Large. It's a Seiko SWR049. The watch is absolutely beautiful and dirt cheap. It has a very similar design to the Tank Must. I have a Seiko with a very similar design to that Seiko Tank, only mine is the round version. I bought it many years ago at a department store. And it's an absolutely fantastic watch for the price. So if I were looking for a similar, non-expensive Cartier Tank alternative, that Seiko would be in my top. There are a few things to consider though. The Cartier Tank Must Large case dimensions are 33.7 mm on a long side and 25.5 mm is the width, with 6.6 mm thickness, which is a pretty small watch as tank should be. The Seiko Tank is 28.5 mm wide and 38.5 mm long, with thickness of only 6.08 mm. On the paper it doesn't seem like much, but on the wrist it could seem much larger due to its rectangular form factor. The retail price for the Seiko Tank is $195. Other than that, Seiko features the same traditional dial with the Roman numerals and beautifully shaped hands and cabochon crown. It also has 30 meters of water resistance, so you should be safe with splashes of water. To continue the rectangular theme, let's talk about Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso. Reverso is a rectangular, well-known, iconic watch that starts its history in 1931 as the watch made for polo players. Apparently, they kept breaking their watches, so the reversible watch was the answer to the issue. You flip it over and protect the crystal during the game, which makes Reverso an actual sports watch, built for a purpose. Today there are many different variations of the model, but the classic design is still there with two main models. Reverso Classic with Arabic numerals and Reverso Tribute with polished applied markers. Today I have a perfect Reverso Tribute affordable alternative from a Swedish microbrand Sonar. Interesting fact is that Sonar only makes rectangular watches. So the model I'm talking about is Amorous. It is a clean, very proportionate rectangular dress watch. The watch is not the same as Reverso, as you cannot flip the dial over to protect it, but you are probably not a polo player either. So the feature is not that important. Other than that, Sonar has plenty of good stuff to offer. The finishing of the watch, hands, markers and dial is very nice. And the curved case design has some nice complexity in it. The cool addition is that the case is made of hardened stainless steel, which should protect it from scratches. The case size is 28 mm wide and 40 mm long including lugs, so the watch wears quite small on the wrist. Small but a bit thick with the case thickness of 10 mm. At the same time, the watch fits on the wrist perfectly thanks to the curved case. Another cool thing is that you actually can swim with this watch. The watch water resistance rating is 50 meters and it doesn't have a screw down crown, but the brand suggests that it's a snorkeling approved watch. The watch is powered by the Swiss Sellita SW100A automatic movement. All that for $510 retail price. Different color dials available, as well as the quartz model, which is slimmer and has no date or seconds hand, if that's something you'd prefer. Well, maybe the quartz model is an even better reverso alternative, eh? Moving on from rectangular dress watches to sports category. Here we have one watch to rule them all. It's the legendary Rolex Explorer. Explorer is a fantastic watch that received enormous recognition in the course of the last 5 to 6 years, probably. Funny thing is, I remember Explorer when it was a pure enthusiasta or geeks watch. Regular folks were getting Datejusts back then. Another side effect of the popularity is that many watch brands are making similar watches. So there are plenty of good ones out there, but today I want to talk about one of the coolest in my opinion. It's a Hamilton collaboration with a fashion brand Engineered Garments. They came up with a beautiful 36mm titanium Khaki field model. It comes on a titanium bracelet as well. I think it's a perfect watch and a very good alternative to the Rolex Explorer 36. Hamilton retail price is $1,145, but could be hard to find since the watch is a limited edition. My two most favorite things about this watch are the case size and the dial simplicity. I am not a big engineered garments fan, so I don't really care about the collaboration. I just like the watch, and I hope that Hamilton will later release a regular, let's say stainless steel model with the same dial and dimensions. It would be just great. The watch has a 36mm case size and it's 10.6mm thick. For comparison, the iconic Rolex Explorer 36 is 11.5mm thick. The watch comes with Super Luminova lume and 100 meters of water resistance, which is plenty for adventures. Inside the watch is the H10 automatic movement, a solid workhorse caliber with a mighty 80-hour power reserve. The caliber is visible through a partially transparent case back with the collab information engraved. If I was on the market for a Rolex Explorer alternative, this Hamilton would be my top on the list. Now let's move to one of the most important chronographs in history. Omega Speedmaster Professional, the legendary Moonwatch. This is the watch that many enthusiasts consider as one and only watch. The perfect everyday watch, the exit watch if you will. I personally think it's a fantastic watch to have in the collection, so you need at least one or two other watches in addition to the Speedy. Anyway, we are here to talk about alternatives, and I bet there is a perfect alternative to the Speedmaster Professional. You probably guessed it already, it's the Bulova Lunar Pilot, or Bulova Moonwatch. I own both Omega and Bulova, and I think they both are great watches in their price category. The Lunar Pilot is a watch with a very cool space history. Astronaut David Scott wore the exclusive Bulova watch on the Apollo 15 mission to the moon in 1971. Scott wore the Bulova as a backup to his NASA-issued Omega watch. However, the crystal on his Omega popped off during his second moonwalk, so he used the Bulova on his third moonwalk. Scott also wore the Bulova while driving the Lunar rover, making it the second watch to ever be worn on the moon. Isn't it cool? Aside from the great story, Bulova Lunar Pilot offers something that Omega Moonwatch Hesselite does not have. The watch has a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. It has a step dial with applied markers. The black matte dial has a really well thought through design and a nice depth. The markers and hands are filled with blued lume. That dial construction seems to me to be more complex than the Speedmaster. It features 50 meters of water resistance, the same as the Moonwatch, and the brand suggests you can swim with the watch. There are two main versions of the watch. One model is 45mm diameter and another is 43.5. The watch thickness is 13.5 millimeters. Both will be more prominent on the wrist compared to the Speedy. The retail price for the Lunar Pilot is $895, but the watch can be found on sale from time to time. The watch is powered by the high-performance quartz movement. As I said already, I actually own both Omega and Bulova, with Bulova being in my collection for about 7 years already, and the watch performed exceptionally. And the last watch on the list is the Pilot watch. IWC Mark XX is probably one of the most iconic pilot watches of all time, and it's a great watch. I own the previous model Mark 18 and I love it. IWC made several nice changes to the newer Mark 20. But we here today are talking about alternatives, and I have you covered for a pilot watch also. Let's explore Laco Augsburg 39. Laco is a German watch brand that has a special focus on pilot watches. Laco delivers a very good quality and features for the attainable price. They have a great deal of different pilot watches, but the Augsburg 39 would be the most relevant in my opinion. It looks absolutely fantastic and can be a great alternative to the IWC. It's a pretty powerful pilot watch at 39mm. Laco Augsburg 39 has a distinguished pilot watch style design. The watch is 11.5mm thick and only 46.5mm lug-to-lug, which make it a very wearable pilot. Pilot watches usually are not big on water resistance, and this Laco has only 50 meters. The watch is powered by an automatic movement Laco 2S that's based on Miyota 8 2S0. At the real price of $410, it's a great value proposition. So these are 8 iconic watches alternatives. I've selected the watches that I personally like and think they are great regardless of how you see them. Whether it's a true alternative, homage, or just a cool watch with a similar design. I have to warn you though, if you really want one of those icons, any substitute probably won't help you in the long run. It may scratch an itch for some period of time, but most likely you will be thinking about the desired watch. On the other hand, if you don't care much about a brand on a dial and its design that you like the most, you certainly can choose a very cool watch from this list. Let me know your thoughts on the selection. Do you see them as a good alternative to all these icons? Looking forward to seeing your comments. Thank you for watching, I will see you next time. Bye now and happy collecting.